Welcome back to my channel, Star Booze.
Mark Harmon finally speaks up about Tricky Nelson and his spouse. Mark Harmon was Thomas. Mark Harmon was born in September, California, Burbank 2nd, 1951. Heckams from a distinguished family. Achievement. Tom Harmon, his father, was a well-known football player who achieved 1940 Heisman Trophy and afterwards started working as a sports coach, while his mother Elle Knox was an actress from the 1940s and icon of fashion. This special blend of his family's athleticism and artistic talent would eventually come to characterize Mark's life trajectory, one based on diligence, honesty as well as originality. Prior to stepping into the entertainment industry, Harmon first came after his father's athletic strides. He was a UCLA student, where he served as the team's quarterback, the Boston Bruins football team, showing grace under duress, leadership, and a strong work ethic, attributes that would thereafter reverberate throughout his performance profession. Following graduation with a degree in communications, Harmon thought studying advertising or law, but shortly found a love for performing, destitute investigating performance art, taking his craft seriously, and has established himself in theatre. Harmon's early work on television include the 1970s and 1980s appearances on well-known series like Policewoman, Emergency, and Thelabote. His breakthrough performance was in The Saint Elsewhere, a medical drama, where he performed the intricate and dashing Dr. Bobby Caldwell. This position received a lot of attention and led to he was named the sexiest by People magazine, Alive in 1986, an honor that strengthened his reputation as a Hollywood hot. Harmon, however, was never satisfied to rely solely on charisma. His performance kept growing and becoming more profound with time. Over the ensuing years, Harmon worked consistently over the film and television, appearing in motion pictures like 1987's Summer School, The Stealing Home 1988, and Presidio 1988. Even though a lot of his movies were well received, some of them successful at the box office, it was TV where he discovered his act. With positions ranging from good to bad, Harmon showed a remarkable spectrum of emotions and unwavering professionalism. He turned into recognized in the field as a trustworthy and gifted entertainer who read each project while he was there. But it was his function as unique Laurie Jethro Gibbs, an agent in the CBS NCIS television series, that would establish the highest point in Mark Harmon's career. When NCIS debuted in 2003, it quickly became a huge struck and ultimately one of the prime-time scripted series in the history of American television. As Gibbs, Harmon presented a subdued yet profound, morally upright leader molded by tragedy, devotion, as well as a code of ethics developed from sacrifices on both a personal and professional level. Millions of people were moved by his performance. Of viewers additionally, during the 18 seasons, Harmon emerged as the sensitive andancer of the show's narrative. Additionally, Hugh worked as an executive producer, and additionally off screen he demonstrated his leadership. In Mark Harmon in 2014, already extensive elevated for his extensive participation as Laurie Jethro Gibbs, special agent on NCIS, significantly lagging behind the scenes till the start of his own production, Wings Productions, the corporation. This signaled an important development in Harmon's professional journey as he moved from acting only as an actor to assume the management and creative duties of a producer of television. Wings Productions was founded especially to create NCIS New, a spin-off of the main NCIS show, all in series, extending the brand into further narrative region, situated in culture and a moody environment of Crescent City, Louisiana. Within his capacity as executive producer, Harmon the show debuted a new cast led by Scott Bakula and concentrated on a novel group of naval detectives addressing criminal activity that took place at the complex and Harbor City with historical significance. Behind the scenes involvement of Harmon was crucial in preserving the production, tone, and structure principles that supporters had grown to anticipate from of NCIS. His practical advice helped NCIS New Orleans achieve success and cultivate a strong following over its 7-season run. Keeping up his momentum as an inspiring factor in TV, Harmon continued to be involved in development activities for new initiatives. According to reports in 2018, he was employed as a producer of a recently adapted CBS series from John Sanford's very well-known Prey books. These suspenseful books, renowned for their captivating narrative and nuanced characters, focus on Lucas Davenport, an researcher with a sharp intellect and amoral principles that are regularly put to the test in hazardous and gloomy circumstances. The Prey series has been a common element in the criminal fiction field for many years, with over 30 million copies were sold globally. It was a perfect example of widespread appeal, potential adaptation for television. Interestingly, the last 10 installments each of the series had arrived at the desired number. One spot on the New York Times bestseller list highlights their ongoing appeal. Harmon's participation as a producer brought believability and zeal for the project, increasing anticipation that the series would accurately depict the novels, complexity and tension to the screen while attracting devoted followers as well as newbies. Long before the Saracen endeavors in production, Harmon Hattie has already dabbled in the world of leading, both in 1999 and 2000. He oversaw the medical show's episodes Chicago Hope, a well-known play CBS shows that explored the personal and professional life of surgeons working for a private charity in fiction Chicago Hospital. This director Harmon was able to showcase his narrative skills in a different ability, operating from the opposite side of the use of the camera to influence performances, imagespace, and style. His entry into in 2002, the directing continued with two scenes from the well-regarded high school. David E. Boston created the drama Boston Public. Kelly. This program addressed the difficult and frequently contentious topics that teachers and pupils in a Boston Bath Harmon's public high school and paid a significant contribution to its powerful narratives. These early focusing efforts showed Harmon's broad comprehension of theatrical structure in his capacity to direct both stories and the acting performance, a set of abilities that would later be useful to him as Amica. Mark Harmon most recently, in 2023, demonstrated his adaptability and intellectual interest with their release of Honolulu's Ghosts, a Japanese-American spy and a Japanese spy hunter, and Pearl's Untold Story co-authoring Harbor with a retired Unsize Leon Carroll Jr., the special agent. The non-fiction book delves into a less well-known yet intriguing region of the world's history of World War II with an emphasis on espionage and tense counterintelligence before Pearl was attacked the harbor. The story revolves around a captivating game of cat and mouse between a Japanese-American and a Japanese spy counterpart employed by the Navintellect, providing a special and humanizing perspective from which to observe World War. Harmon said, from Carroll, who had long worked on NCIS as a technical advisor, guaranteed the authenticity of the book and precision, based on actual experience conducting research, along with in addition to co-authoring the book, Harmon provided narration for the audiobook. Lending his signature and voice were familiar. Gravity to the narrative is significant. Historical narrative. The project served as yet another illustration of Harmon's continuous development as with multiple talents and reinforced his dedication to shedding light on both real life and fictional accounts of courage, fairness, and national pride. Mark Harmon was raised in a household that was already well known and achievement, providing him with a special childhood impacted by both global of Hollywood and professional sports glamour. Tom Harmon. His father was a renowned American football player. His fame and success made him a proven example and a benchmark for him in excellence and discipline that surely impacted Mark's own values and work ethic. Elise's mother Knox was a fashion designer and actor, and a former model who rose to prominence during the golden period of Hollywood. She made an appearance in a lot of movies in the 1940s and was well known not just for her on-screen persona, presence, as well as for her grace and elegance off-screen. Elise provided a sophisticated, family-friendly artistic sensibility, and her experience in the entertainment industry gave Mark an up-close view, entering the planet that he would eventually call his. Elise and Tom worked together to provide a distinctive fusion of artistic and athleticism impact that influenced their kids' lives growing up. Mark had two sisters, both of whom have left their imprint on society as well. Kristen Harmon, his older sister, was a painter and actor who made dearly notoriety as a teenage idol's bride Ricky Nelson and afterwards made an appearance on TV herself. She was also well known for her intensely private artwork, frequently addressing emotional and familial issues. The union of Kristen and Ricky Nelson connected the Harmon family to an additional legendary entertainment dynasty, the Nelson household. Unfortunately, Kristen died on April 27 after suffering a heart attack. 2018, a loss that had a profound impact on her fans and relatives. She was renowned not just for her abilities, but additionally for her strength and warmth, especially as an unmarried mother and an artist in negotiating the difficulties of celebrity and individual hardship. Mark's other Kelly Harmon, her sister, also sought professions in fashion and entertainment. She served as an actor and model before becoming a well-known figure in advertisements and publications. 1970s and 1980s advertising season, well known for her grace and beauty, added to the Harmon public perception of the family as multi-talented and fashionable. In his private life, Mark Harmon has kept up a lengthy and long-term union with actress Pam Dober, most well known for playing Mindy in the well-known sitcom Morton McConnell. Mindy is on the other side of Robin Williams. On March 21, 1987, the pair got married in a private event that represented their desire for a subtle ground way of life. In contrast to many Hollywood, Mark and Pam, two couples, have made a deliberate attempt to stay out of the emphasis, concentrating on increasing their family away from the demands of the spotlight. Their dedication to confidentiality has only increased popular admiration for their connection that has endured off time in a field that is frequently characterized by brief romantic relationships. They have two kids together, Shantai and Thomas Harmon, who were born in 19,881,992, saw the birth of Christian Harmon. Sean continued his father's legacy, and even depicted a juvenile version of Leroy, his father's famous character in flashbacks. Jethro Gibbs appeared on NCIS. His visits gave admirers a chance to discover a new aspect of the character while providing a unique bond on screen between a father and son. However, it has mostly remained away from the spotlight, following passions bend the scenes, such as the production and the screenplay. The Harmons has put a lot of effort into protecting its sons from the close examination of Hollywood, opting instead to offer them with a grounded and steady. Additionally, Mark Harmon is associated with a number of other well-known names through his kin. By means of the union of sister Kristen and Ricky, he became the brother-in-law of Nelson. In addition to Nelson, the automotive John DeLorean, an executive who was momentarily lesbos of another Kristen sister's in-law. These links were made peace in the middle of a distinct cultural network that included movies, music, television, as well as the automobilista. He is the actress's uncle, Tracy Nelson, a television personality in movie parts during the 1980s and 1990s, as well as Matthew Nelson and Gunnar, twins who achieved success in with their rock group, Nelson, in the early 1990s. The brothers' songs reached the top of the charts and were a member of a generational heritage that started with their Ozzie, a big band leader, and grandfather Nelson. Following decades of upholding his distinctive discretion and deference, renowned actor Mark Harmon for Private Sires at last discussed a subject that has captivated Hollywood enthusiasts and classic music for a long time. They're frequently tumultuous. Thoroughly examined rock and roll legend Ricky's marriage actress Kristen Harmon and Nelson HOA is the elder sister of Mark. In an uncommon and remarkably open interview, Harmon pondered the intricacies of emotions, personal burden, and a very private household conflicts pertaining to their union. A partnership that was once both a glitzy celebrity duo and a heartbreaking tale of strained love by notoriety, addiction, and expanding emotional detachment. Harmon was well known for years for his playing Leroy Jethro Gibbs. For a long time had decided not to speak on NCIS. Discussing the marriage in public out of a wish to preserve both of their legacies. The choice made by Ricky and Kristen was based on devotion, sorrow, and a strong conviction in family matters' sacredness. But the years have gone by. Both Kristen and Ricky have passed away. Harmon now believes it's the right time to discuss a more intimate point, not to create a sensation, but to respect both people as unique people whose romantic journey went as awful as it was real. Mark disclosed, according to the exterior, Ricky and Kristen had seemed to be the classic young, attractive pair in show business, and plenty of potential. However, behind the curtain of celebrity, Harmon witnessed the cost that Ricky's rigorous work schedule, in addition to Kristen's personal struggles, including their union. Not everything was crimson. Magazine covers and rugs, Harmon reveled. They had a great love for one another. However, they were both having difficulties. He had the demands of remaining current in a transforming the music business, and she with issues that prevented you framed in news stories. Additionally, Harmon acknowledged that as a younger, observing his sister's wedding as a brother dissolve, he experienced a powerful feeling of powerlessness. He remembered the late hours of the night, phone conversations, emotional collapses, and the ongoing conflict between the public persona and personal suffering. There were moments when I was unsure about what to do, somberly said Harmon. You'd want to keep your sister safe. You wish to make repetitions, however. Sometimes your only option is be present and pay attention. The pivotal moment in the marriage of Ricky and Kristen. Harmon claims that it arrived during early in the 1980s, when drug misuse, emotional stress, and financial difficulties became unavoidable. In spite of attempts at therapy, reconciliation, and family actions, the marriage broke down. Divorced in 1982 when they parted ways. A lot had Harmon said that he had already been lost. However, I never questioned their affection. Their children. Mark also spoke for a while with empathy regarding Ricky Nelson's premature passing in 1985, characterizing it as among the most agonizing times in his life. It wasn't just me, Ricky brother. He participated in awfully a person I loved and respected. Drew his passing caused a void and awe of awe, particularly in Christian's hearts. Possibly the most moving aspect of his reflection was Harmon's recognition of his sister, Kristen Erosion, as she struggled in later years with personal struggles and addiction. In 2018, she passed away, an event that he still carries Harmon close to his heart. The world couldn't contain the size of her heart. Occasionally she loved Ricky, he said. She cherished her children. She was simply unable to outrun the darkness that pursued her. But last, Mark broke his quiet. Harmon has provided a unique, sincere insight into a legendary union, one brimming with sincere love, artistic ardor, and finally sadness. The goal of words is not to change the past, but to provide empathy, background, and humanity to a story that is frequently reduced to tabloid headlines. As a result, Harmon has paid tribute to Ricky's and Kristen, Harmon and Nelson, exposing lasting familial ties, the quiet battles behind the scenes, and the fortitude required to express the truth, even after being silent for so long.